to a new year here at Big Condo Studios. I am your host, Chase Johnson Lynch, and as you remember from last year, I only had one eye. So I thought, in tribute to that time, I will wear this eye patch only for a second because it makes Phil laugh. He doesn't realize how difficult it is to wear an eye patch with glasses, though. Phil. But this eye patch was a gift from our guest who is joining us, who has many treats in store for you today. And her name is Claire Morgans from YKids. Hello, Claire.
Hello. Thank you for inviting me here.
Well, thank you for the eye patch. But no, she brings more than that. She's the gift that keeps on giving. YKids, if you're from Liverpool, you had to have heard of YKids in some way, shape, or form, because they've been around for, what feels like ages, probably, because it started all the way back in 1988.
That's right.
But you actually became a charity in 2004.
Yes, yeah. So this year's our 20th birthday.
20 years. This has got to be fantastic. 20 years serving the community and its children, offering free services, I understand.
That's right. Everything we offer to children and families is free.
But for kids to have fun, active, we're going to go into all of that stuff that they're going on, that they do, because a lot of it's creative. It's not just your normal children's club, is it?
Oh, absolutely not. No, we're about, we want to raise world changers. So young people who can make a difference, be a difference. And then we as an organisation want to champion change so that young people growing up in an environment where they are loved and feel that they can succeed.
Oh, one of your ethos or your statement says, engaging children in literacy through the arts.
Yeah, so we are a children's charity and we run all sorts of different projects and activities for children aged 5 to 18. We encourage young leadership. We have 10 after-school projects every week. We have a community pantry, we do parent support, we do schools work, we do mentoring, and we do large-scale community events. But we also have another project. So we discovered that children in Bootle Bootle's in the bottom 6% for literacy in the country.
Wow.
And we discovered that if a child reads for pleasure, it will improve their mental health and well-being. It will improve their attainment, but it will also improve their earning prospects. So children who read for pleasure will earn 20% more than children who don't in later life. So this was studies done by the National Literacy Trust. So we set up a special project, Kingsley & Co., to promote literacy but in a fun way. So it's not about grammar, it's not about spelling, but about promoting reading for pleasure, reading, storytelling, the arts. So it's not just about books, although it is all about stories, But it's also about poetry, and it's about rap, and it's about drama, and any way that we can tell our stories or create new ones.
It's about the power of the word.
Absolutely.
Like when people are as old as Phil and myself, the deal is we remember the library, don't we, Phil?
We do.
Yeah.
I'd still go, actually, to my local one.
What? You got a library over there?
Yeah, in Widnes, yeah.
Well, see, the thing about it is, this is what I'm trying to say is, most of the libraries have gone down.
That's right.
Because you're saying you're now, one of your bases is based in a former library.
That's right, yes.
But I do remember being in a library, surrounded by books, laying on the floor, reading the adventures of someone, being transported to different places. Yeah. And this is what I liked about some of the things that you offer your young people. I'm just going to go through some of them. The Victorian Explorer Steampunk Children's Bookshop.
Yeah, it's a bit of a mouthful, isn't it? So,
but I said it.
Yeah. So,
first of all, fantastic.
Thank you.
So what about that? What's going on in there?
So Kingsley & Co. Is named after Mary Kingsley, the explorer. And she grew up in a family where girls were not educated. Her brother was sent off to Eton. Her father went around the world as a botanist exploring. But then he her mother had mental health problems, bricked up all the windows in the house, and Mary was left to basically look after her mother on her own. And she taught herself to read and write.
Okay.
But that was all her prospects. And then at 30, both her parents died and she came into money. So she decided as a Victorian lady that she was going to explore Africa.
Wow.
And she was one of the people who fought against the colonial ideas of Britain at the time.
Yeah.
And valued people for who they were, not the colour of their skin. And she wrote a lot about her exploits, the things she did. And she even sponsored the School for Tropical Medicine in Liverpool. The reason we chose Mary was because she made a difference in the world and refused to listen to what people said about her, and changed her life and her circumstances. And for many of our kids, they have very difficult lives and in difficult circumstances, and are told, you're from Bootle, you're not worth anything.
Yeah.
And we're telling our kids, you're from Bootle, you can change the world.
Fantastic. That is brilliant. I mean, amazing story. One of many, I'm pretty sure. But I mean, so again, we got a discovery room, a magic shop. I want to go to this club.
Absolutely. I kept thinking we were talking before.
Yeah, I feel you're too old. But I'm no ageist, just I'm not far behind you. So now again with this eye patch, and kind of like what they're doing with the impact report that she handed me here. You had a pirate festival.
We did, yeah. So the shop is full of all those magical things because we want to inspire children's imagination.
Do you have access to the clothes and the costumes? Or do you
Yeah,
get that?
yeah. So we have a whole dressing up area. We have a big Chesterfield. You can sit and around the fake fire and read books. We have a moving bookcase. We have story doors.
That's what you said. That's what I wanted to hear about. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a hidden book. You don't realise
like
that it
Narnia,
moves.
isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And when the bookcase moves, behind it we have a discovery room, and that's decorated like Captain Nemo's Nautilus.
Oh my God.
We've got portholes and periscope. We have a time machine, a curiosity cabinet. So lots and lots of hands-on things.
I'm disappointed about my age right now.
But the thing is, we have people of all ages who come. So the shop
I
itself,
can imagine.
yeah.
I can imagine the parents are the worst, aren't they?
Well, yeah.
Trying to touch that, trying to pick that up and everything.
We have actually high up, so as well as all the books, so we have all these second-hand books that we sell for £1, so any child can access a book. We have all sorts of artefacts from the past that are high up on display, as well as things from books. So we have a snitch, golden snitch. We have the One Ring from the Lord of the Rings. We have
One ring that rules them all.
We do. We have Cinderella's glass slipper. And Dorothy's ruby slippers from The Wizard of Oz. So there's lots of different. Do you have
like a display cabinet or?
Yes,
we
have a display cabinet, but we also have the top 2 shelves, which are too high for anybody to reach.
Yeah.
We have all sorts of things on display there as well, and then children can come and
Sounds
explore.
like you enjoy it more than they do.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But you know what? We need somebody like you in charge. But keep going. Sorry.
Well, we have a Narnia wardrobe, and when you open it, you see all the fur coats. But as you push through the fur coats, another door opens, and you come into a Victorian sitting room. And there on the wall, there are lovely
Mr.
big.
Tumnus's sitting room.
Which it isn't Mr. Tumnus, no, it's Mary Kingsley's. It's that
right,
sort of
okay.
Stop showing
Victorian.
off, Phil.
Yeah.
Stop showing off, Phil.
But on the wall we have portraits.
Wow.
And then suddenly you'll see them at the corner of your eye move.
Wow.
So a bit like Harry Potter. Yeah.
Amazing.
See, I'm expecting that people are going to be just as excited as me with open mouths agape about all of the stuff that you have on offer. Now, you didn't decide to just keep this in Kingsley & Co. in Bootle Strand. You guys also opened yourselves up to go to schools with these project, don't you? You said
Yes.
something about involving like about 35 different schools.
So since 2013, we actually were working with a local author, Alan Gibbons, and he said, why don't you do a children's literary festival?
Yeah.
And we thought it was a great idea. So back in 2013, we did a pop-up shop. And we did this event and we had loads of schools on board. I say loads, it was about 10 then. It was really successful, and schools, we took authors into schools to do workshops and then had events in the Strand. And what we didn't expect was the outcry of people saying, please keep the shop open. But at the time, it wasn't possible. We didn't have the capacity. We didn't have the money. We couldn't afford rent. And then a few years later, the Strand was actually bought by the council, Sefton Council, and they allowed local charities to use empty shop units to bring the high street back to life. And so they gave us a unit for free. So what we turned that into our Victorian Explorer steampunk bookshop. And since then, we have delivered 3 more literary festivals. Our latest was in November, and we had 45 schools involved. Our theme was fairy tale, myth and legend.
That's what I was going to ask about next. Fairy tale, myth, and legends. Did they do any role play in there? Or?
We did everything. So
Really?
we had a dragon trail. So with a passport by a local artist called Ali Harwood. Wow. And they go around the Strand and click on a QR code, and a bit like, Top Trumps.
Yeah, of course.
You could see all their different powers, all these dragons, and fill it in your little passport.
Yeah.
We had authors going into schools, authors and artists going into schools, but we also had the children coming to us.
Yeah.
And each school would get a 2-hour session with us, an hour with an author doing a workshop, and then an hour in our bookshop where they would do a quiz, have some hot chocolate and cake, choose a free book, and then have half an hour in our dragon-themed escape room. And they had to escape before the dragon woke up.
Was that like Sauron? Or, no, what was the dragon?
Smog. Yes, Smog. Yes, it was just like
wow.
Smog.
Really?
And if they managed to solve 4 puzzles and get 4 numbers, then they could open a padlocked chest and each have a piece of dragon gold, which of course was chocolate.
Of course it's chocolate. Of course it is.
Chocolate gold, yeah.
Wow.
All the boxes. Yeah.
Yeah, because my son is like 20 now and everything. I mean, I can't even send him over there.
The other thing that we did as well was we held some events for the community during half term and on the weekends. So during half term, we had a 3-day medieval fair, and we had knights, and we had archery and giant Angry Birds and a sword.
Because of the cannonballs?
Yeah. We had giant birds and a massive catapult that you just pull back. So like soft toy birds, and the little pigs that you have to get. We had a sword in the stone with an electromagnet, so you could not get the sword out.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You had people like struggling to get it out?
So basically it was remote control. So when the adults had to go, no way. And then you get a 3-year-old going, yay! Which was great.
My God.
We had stocks as well, and then then we did the following Saturday we did a literary fair and invited lots of local authors to come down, do performances and sell their books.
Well, when's the next fair?
The next one, 2 years. It's every 2 years. Sorry.
What?
2025 November will be our next one.
Here, but okay.
I must tell you, because I know you like dragons, we had a dragon festival on the last day.
Really?
And we had an animatronic dragon, and huge, the breathing smoke. His name was Drago, and he came with Merlin. And we also invited the Wirral Vikings down. So, the book's done, How to Train Your Dragon.
Yeah, of course.
So we had dragons and Vikings, and the Vikings were amazing. They set up a camp and talked about, Viking life. And then the warriors sort of were a guard for this dragon, which was just as well, because his tail swang would take people out. It was just so huge.
See, Phil doesn't know this. See, Phil, the Wirral is like pillaged by the Vikings.
I had
Yes,
no idea.
but it was the Wirral Vikings.
And like
yeah,
every place over in the Wirral that ends in BY was a Viking pillage village.
Yeah.
Like Greasby or Formby or, you
Yeah.
know, all that other kind of stuff. See, I know my history.
Yes.
That's good.
So you had Vikings.
We
That
did. We
is
had the
amazing.
Wirral Vikings.
Well, okay.
We had the Wirral Vikings who came, and they were amazing. Yeah.
Your parents are bad. Oh,
Did they sail across the water in their longboats?
Wait a minute.
Wouldn't that have been good?
Seriously.
Yeah.
Right. Did they do that?
No. The modern
Why
equivalent.
not?
Modern equivalent. You know, car.
In a car. They probably showed up in a speedboat. Something, hey, you got 2 years, buddy. You got 2 years to work on that boat. I'm going to tell you.
Next time, you better have it down.
Now, this is, you know, we're having so much fun with this, right? This is probably why the community has gotten behind your organization when you needed them most and everything. And that was like when you had to move location.
Yeah.
Tell us about what the community did in support of your move.
Absolutely. So Kingsley & Co. is based in the Strand Shopping Centre, and they've just recently got some funding to redevelop the centre, which is fantastic, but it's basically knocking down the part that we're in.
Yeah.
So we've been given another venue, which is in prime location. We are thrilled to bits, but it needs a lot of work because it's a former bank.
Yeah.
And obviously banks don't have toilets and kitchens and things, and we need that for the project because we also have a little cafe in there, so nice cake and coffee. So we knew that because of the short time frame, Kingsley & Co. would have to be closed for a few months while we refurbished. So how could we let the community know we're not gone? Because often when something closed, we think, that's it, it's gone, and we haven't gone.
Yeah.
So we thought what we could do is we can ask our community to help us move all our books from one store downstairs in the Strand all the way through to the front of the Strand. And we estimated it'd probably take about 300 people. So this was an idea we had the week before Christmas, and we had to do it on the 9th of January. So, you know, there wasn't a lot of prep time. No. But we put the call out and 7 schools got on board. Loads of community organisations, the local council, local businesses. So many people came down. Wow. And we actually managed to do the human chain of people, transport loads of books to the new building. And we even got on the local news, which was amazing. And there was a wonderful atmosphere. We felt so privileged to be part of this community that wanted to help and wanted to be part of what we're doing at Kingsley & Co.
And that community being in Bootle, as you were saying, about, you know, because reputation or thoughts or demystifications and all that kind of stuff.
Absolutely.
It actually just proves that the community serves itself when it's appreciating how it's being served.
Yeah. And I think what was really lovely as well, the kids would always say, I was on telly. It was really lovely.
So you on telly?
Yeah.
You on telly, me? You know. Now, you know, before we get like to one of the very interesting things that you guys got coming up, I just also wanted to just take a moment, like as I was asking, you know, because you got a good team around you and everything and stuff like that. The team's probably been active for a long time. But I mean, the team is made up of very different personalities, as you say.
Yes, very different personalities, yeah.
But, you know, somebody has to bring that, you know, glue together and everything. I would just thought it'd be nice to acknowledge, like, who did you want to acknowledge in that?
Oh, if I say one, I'll have to say them all.
Go on then.
Okay. So we've got Neil, who's our operations manager, who runs all the kids groups and pulls everything together there. And then we have Rachel, who does our social media, and she makes us look good. Yeah. And we have Anne, who's our families worker. We have Hamish, who does our finances. We have Luke and Caris, again, youth workers. And Luke's really good doing videos as well. We have Annalise, also youth worker. Louisa, our capacity builder. Jake, our story keeper. Alicia is assistant manager at Kingsley. And Liz, who's the manager at Kingsley. Now, if I've left anyone out, I'm in big trouble, aren't I?
Let me
Off the
just
top
tell
of
you
my, who
something.
have I
Let me
missed
just tell you
out?
something, Claire.
And I've got the
You didn't leave
interns as
anybody out.
well. Yeah.
You didn't leave anybody out. And because you mentioned people who are probably sitting there watching this going,
Have I missed it? I'll be in such big trouble. So we have 4 interns. So these are young people who've given up a year of their life to come and volunteer with us. So that's Aaron and Annie and Freya and Ollie.
Right. All right. You all been named.
Yeah,
And
no
everything.
moaning now.
Yeah, exactly. Because YKids is made up of a community of people who are working from their heart. You know? So, being that you're working from your heart, there's a big event that you have coming up that you've been running since 2012,
That's right.
which is called the Believe Awards,
Yeah,
which is coming up in June, I believe.
that's right. 21st of June.
Right. Okay. So now the theme of this year's Believe Awards is Children Unsung Heroes.
So the Believe Awards was set up to recognise children across our region who are unsung heroes, always about celebrating kids. So age 7 to 17. Because what we found is that people are always going like, oh, kids today. Blah, blah, blah. And there are so many young people out there who are doing amazing things and getting no credit for it. They're not doing it for credit. They're doing it just because it's the right thing to do. So we set up...
Miles of Babes.
Absolutely. We set up the awards in 2012. And since then, we've seen the most amazing young people celebrated. Kids who've been carers, who are champions for particular things like we've had eco warriors. We've had a child who saved the life of another child. We had kids who've campaigned to get bus tickets brought down prices, and we've even had a group of blind free runners. They were
Wait a
amazing.
minute. That brought down prices. Is that the transport one?
Yeah, so we had
Phil loved that one because it made the bus price cheaper for him.
He did, yeah. So it was a number of
that's a
years
good
ago, and basically the bus prices were the same for children at 13 as adults, but they were still in school.
Yeah.
And so this young man campaigned to have the bus prices brought down for under 18s. I mean, now it's £2 for everybody now, which is great, but that's the legacy of him campaigning, which is still having an impact now, which is wonderful.
Well done, lad, and everything for doing that. This event is going to be at the Titanic Hotel.
It is,
And
yeah.
the Titanic Hotel is only right down the road from us, but we've never been there. All I
No,
know is they got a great pool. Titanic, water, get it. But either way, wow.
yeah. So when we started at Bootle Town Hall, and the events just got bigger and bigger. And we are very blessed to have Pladis Global, otherwise known as Jacob's Factory, who have become the lead sponsors for the event. So that's enabled us to be able to say, okay, we can go to a bigger venue. So we've moved a few different places around the city, but the Titanic's definitely the biggest. And our theme this year is History Makers.
Yeah.
So we're going to be looking at different people from Liverpool's history who've made a massive impact on the world. And then each of the awards will be under one of those categories. So one of my favourites, for example, is Duncan, Newman and Fresh. And they were the guys who, an engineer, a doctor and inspector of public nuisances, who worked together to change the life expectancy of people in Bootle. Wow. And the way they did it was, at the time, people were living in the courts in utter just filth. And so Duncan recognised this as a doctor, and Duncan Newman was the engineer who created our sewers. Before London had sewers, we had them in Liverpool. And Mr. Fresh was the inspector of public nuisances. So he basically, his team collected all the poo. So they had night soil men, and they'd go around the Victorian homes and collect all the poo and take it out to a wonderful place called Fresh Fields. So next time you go to the really posh place and posh houses in Fresh Fields, just remember that actually that's where all Liverpool's poo used to go.
Wow.
You've heard it here first.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
amazing.
So there's some lovely stories behind these great people who made a difference.
I just
in
love it
Liverpool.
how the guy's name is Fresh, picking up poo.
Oh,
Yeah.
You can't make that up.
Yeah, I don't think he personally picks up the poo, but I think in charge of a lot of people who did it. Yeah.
I don't know. I think he
That's
did.
amazing.
But I mean, like, so that's the launch. You launching the competition, did you?
Yes. So after half term, we'll be launching the competition and sending it out, and asking anyone to nominate any child. So a parent can, social worker, teacher, grandparent, friend, and there'll be an online form that we ask people to fill in. Every child nominated will receive a certificate. Then 10 winners and their families will come to a big event, 3-course meal, entertainment, lovely awards, and be celebrated and their story told.
Amazing. And it also is the inspiration that you mentioned about how the children will often start off somewhat shy, but do that acknowledgement, like grow in stature and in heart, and everything like that. That's amazing. This has been amazing. I mean, we, look how fast time has gone, but, there's more. On the 10th of February is Children's Mental Health Week, right? Which is very important for everyone to acknowledge, and everything. But what are you guys going to do about it?
So the Liverpool One Foundation do a lot with local charities and children's mental health. So they are promoting local charities to come into the Liverpool One area and work with shops and things and to say about their work. And we've been given the opportunity to go to John Lewis on the 10th, and Kingsley & Co. and our story keeper will be there talking about our work and having our books there and things. So, yeah.
So you only taking the story keeper, no dragons?
There might not be any dragons, no.
No room for the dragon, bro.
Oh, actually, no, we might have our little dragon there. Yes, we might do,
well,
yeah.
There we go. Little
Yeah.
dragon, little dragon, little pirate, whatever, I don't know. Titan the robot and stuff. So lastly, you guys got a YouTube channel
We have indeed.
and everything. So tell us what the YouTube channel is.
It's YKids Bootle. So if you
YKids Bootle.
Google YKids Bootle or search on YouTube, you'll find us.
Because I thought that was really interesting. You had something called, at one point, YKids News. Kids
Yes.
is fantastic.
Yeah.
You put a camera in front of a kid or a microphone and, you get gold, and stuff like that. Great work that you guys are doing. I really think that you should really think about this thing, because you were telling me that you were hoping to do a book or have a book made of 20 stories.
Yeah, because
Wow,
we're
story.
20 this year.
Yeah.
We are sort of in the process of talking to some of the people who are, I suppose, YKids Legacy. One of them's actually
you
one
have
of
one.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So 20 stories of people who've been impacted by YKids. One of them actually started when she was 7 with us, and our carnival costumes projects. Then as a teenager worked in our cafe. She was very, very shy, wouldn't come out of the back, ended up being the manager of that cafe. COVID closed it down, unfortunately. It was a cafe that gave jobs to young people far from the job market. COVID, we couldn't continue. She then went to university, and she's then qualified as an environmental health officer from no qualifications to that, and she's now a trustee. Wow. Absolutely amazing. Wow. She's wonderful.
I mean, if anybody out there feels that they can help support a project like this, I think it's a great idea, great project. I mean, 20 years in our community, there's got to be an interesting way of capsulizing all of that together and everything.
So one of the things that we're in the process of the refurbishment, as I mentioned earlier, and we realise it's going to cost us about £100,000 to refurbish this property the way we want to. However, our community of businesses have rallied round us, and we have £70,000 worth of work being done. However, we still need that £30,000 of cash, because that's actually going to buy the paint and the paper and the alarm and you need some physical things as well.
Dragon armor.
Yeah, dragon armor, the works. So, yeah, we've got a dragon actually. We do have a huge paper mache dragon head that was on display in the Strand. It's still there for the moment. But yeah, so we are looking if anyone can help us with funding to get us over the line so that we can open hopefully in May. If you go to our website, which is YKids.co.uk, we're starting to put some fundraising stuff on that. So, or get in touch, again, YKids.co.uk. If you want to find more about Kingsley, that has its own website as well, which is kingsleyandco.org. And we also have a website for the Believe Awards, which is the Believe Awards thebelieveawards.co.uk. That's right.
Yeah, we'll check all that.
Yes, thebelieveawards.co.uk. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Like I said, I told you it was going to be a lot, but it's a lot of goodies.
Yes,
It's kind of like catch the rainbow from the Skittles bag. You know what I mean? So all I got to say is, because I know I'm out of time, but I want to thank Claire Morgans for joining me here today in our new show, because it's a new year and everything like that. Claire Morgans from YKids. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
And, thank you for also being here. That means you out there. Try commenting this year. I think there's a lot of comments that you can make, like, how can I support you? Or, when's that dragon showing up? How do I get my kid involved? Because that's the main thing. Because how can you have your children miss an opportunity like this? From 0 to 18. They also deal with over 18s as well, but mainly it's from 0 to 18.
Yeah.
And everything there at the Bootle Strand as it still exists. So, I'd like to thank Phil for being on the decks and commenting when, he's invisible. And he catches me when I'm falling. He completes me. I'm Chase Johnson Lynch. And for now, we out of here.